So
Yeah.
hold on a sec. What happens with mortgages in between the interim closing and the actual closing?
Well, there
Actually,
is no mortgage
no, but
until
like
actual
you
closing.
don't lock in a rate at the interim closing, right? Like
You
your rate,
could,
can you?
if you wanted to, you could go to RBC. I mean, we have people who went to RBC and got 2.5-year rate holds for project completion because they were buying towards the tail end of the sales, and they said, I might as well lock in the rate.
Geniuses.
2.5
Some of them,
year
right? Some of them
lock-in.
probably, if they did that, the timing was right on the right project, that could have been a huge savings.
Yeah.
RBC's kicking themselves.
But again, the project has to close on time. So that's the other thing, because you can sit in interim occupancy for a year, which is brutal. There's been a few projects that like sat in interim occupancy for over a year. And so like a year ago, you take occupancy, you're looking at your interest rates, you're like, this isn't too bad. And then as you progress through your interim occupancy, you're just seeing rate hike.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. It's like, what the hell's going on? So hold on, let's back up a bit. Explain for people, because I don't think a lot of people know even what an interim closing is. I don't even think most purchasers that maybe have contracts now even know what an interim closing is gonna be. So can you explain that to people in a easy way?
Yeah, sure. So there's no title on the property, right? And this only exists in Ontario. There's no title on the property, but the building's ready to move into. Maybe the only thing incomplete are your amenities. So you're going to have to pay the builder, because you got to remember the builder's still paying their construction finance. They're paying all their debt off, right? So you have to pay the builder the interest only payment on the 80, assuming you have 20% down on whatever balance is yet to be paid to the builder, because they don't get the money from your bank, obviously, until there is a title on final closing. So take the keys to your unit, you get to live in the unit, but you're paying what people will refer to as rent to the builder, which is just your interest only payment on the 80% balance based on the Bank of Canada overnight, your projected maintenance fees, and your estimated property taxes.
Right. Nice. Now, Jordan, just an example for you. So somebody right now who wants to sell, and they have a closing coming up, interim occupancies next month, but we don't expect them to actually have to take title for, a year after or less. Would you suggest that they would take occupancy and assign it during that time? Or would you accept, like, depending on their situation, would you say, look, it might be better for you to close and to be able to transfer title afterwards? Like, what would you think?
Depends on the unit type. And obviously their personal finances. Like, there's no one size fits all, but generally speaking, the assignment market is as cutthroat as I've ever seen it. Like, there's an abundance of people looking to get out of these contracts. And people have to remember, like, people get really frustrated when they're selling via assignment, particularly if they didn't buy with me, because this was never explained to them. They think that, there's a building launching across the street at $1,700 a square foot. Why the hell won't my assignment sell at $1,300 a foot? There's no bids at $1,300 a foot. How does that make any sense? What they don't realize is, just like when you went to buy that pre-construction condo 5 years ago, you weren't entertaining the idea of assignments because you didn't have 20, 30, 40% cash ready to put down. It's the same thing today. Nobody looking at that building across the street launching at 1,700 and considering buying a unit is even interested in your assignment. They're two completely separate buying pools. And the buying pool of assignments, you have two. 90% of assignment buyers are investors looking to fleece somebody. And right now there is an abundance of people who are willing to be fleeced to get out of their units. And the other 10% is somebody an end user looking for something very specific. I want a 1,500 square foot unit with a terrace overlooking the future Green Line Park. I want a 2,000 square foot Lakeview unit, right? Which most investors didn't buy. So those assignments are rarely, if ever, available because they've been purchased by end users anyways. So really what it comes down to is you're selling to an investor who has a lot of capital put aside, knows what an assignment is, and is specifically looking to get a disgustingly good deal, right? Like that's what an assignment buyer is. Yeah. And they have their pick of the litter right now, right? Like,
so even if you can put it on the MLS during the occupancy period and have showings and all that stuff to market to the end users and stuff like that, that's maybe another scenario that you think could work.
That helps for sure. Yeah,
because I see those on the MLS. I've never done one, but I see them. Assignment sale, but you can show it, right?
Yeah, the agent on the other end, like the buying agent, just needs to understand assignments and understand the differences, because I find what happens during those occupancy periods on the rare instances when you can list on MLS, like a lot of agents will call me and be like, I don't know how to do an assignment deal. Like, what does this look like? How much cash do I have to? And it's just like, it's a mess because a lot of agents just don't know what an assignment is or what's required to complete an assignment deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can also be super frustrating.
So
There's a
how
lot of
much
changes too lately.
How much, like, is there anybody tracking or any way to know, like, how much inventory is there in the assignment market now?
There's
Like, I know
no way to know.
It's 100%.
no way to know, right?
Every
No, but-
unit ever bought is up for assignment right now.
But it must
Hey,
be
that's a joke,
crazy. It
but
must be like
it's-
close to the inventory of like Toronto like resale market. No,
it's
there
not,
must be
not.
no.
The WhatsApp group, so that because they repost
Why?
them
Because
and-
it's like they come in waves as the buildings are getting closer to
Yeah, so
completion.
it's like it used to be like like a 400 unit building is closing, like maybe like 8 units, 12 units make it to the assignment market. Now it's like a 400 unit building is closing, like 40 units hit the assignment market.
10%. That's not that bad.